Hi everyone, I'm here with Herain Oberoi. How are you doing, Herain?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fabulous. How's your Microsoft Ignite experience here in San Francisco?
Oh, it's been great. Just the energy from seeing everyone in person, spending time with customers and partners. It's been awesome.
Yes, I love that. So Herain, Ignite is packed with a lot of AI news, like a lot. It's AI, AI, AI. So give us the 30-second rundown. What does security for AI mean at Microsoft this year?
Yeah, no, that's love it. So for customers to deploy AI and sort of accelerate their transformation, they have to be able to trust it. And we have this view that security, having a strong cybersecurity foundation is the key to building trustworthy AI. So that's been one of the key things. We have this notion of security has to be in everything you build by default. We talk about it as a core primitive. It has to be ubiquitous, so it's got to be everywhere, and it's got to be autonomous. So it's got to work in the background as well. And so as we've been looking at what it means to secure these AI workloads, it's really about thinking about how do we help the security teams partner with both the IT teams and the development teams and work together sort of in a collaborative way to secure those workloads. So that's kind of been the big one, is how do we make security permeate across everything?
Yeah, and I think in an era where a lot of people are hesitant to use AI, security is super important, right? So talk to me a little bit more about what are the new capabilities, right? You're announcing to help customers secure agents, apps, and platforms.
Yeah, so we had a couple of really cool, big announcements this time around. And so I think the way to think about it is you've got these three teams. You've got the IT team, you've got the developer teams, and you've got the security teams, and they've got to collaborate and partner and work together. And so for the IT teams, we announced Agent 365. That's going to help IT figure out how do we manage agents, how do we onboard them, how do we offboard them, and how do we look at the security of those agents. For development teams, we're integrating with Microsoft Foundry and the Foundry control plane. And so how do we take the security capabilities and our controls and make it available to developers? And then finally, our security products, which is Defender, Purview, and Entra, we've been building capabilities to secure Copilots and apps over the last year or so, and now we're extending all of that to agents as well. So that's been pretty exciting to see.
Yeah, and I think that's exciting news because customers, they keep asking, how do we manage agent sprawl, right? And I want you to go a little bit in depth on that with us here, right? So what's the big news at Ignite to help with this?
Yeah, so agent sprawl, is basically a customer saying, I've got people either building agents or using agents all over my company. I don't have visibility into what that is, and I'm worried about what's the data that's being shared with the agents, what is that agent reasoning over, what kind of resources does the agent have access to, does it have access to my email, databases, all of that is concerns that customers might have. And so what we've done is with Agent 365, part of what we're shipping there is a core piece of it is this notion of an agent registry. And so the agent registry is this unified place where IT can see all the agents in an organization. And every agent will have an agent identity. Just like users have our identity, you want the agent to have an identity. And what that allows you to do is then apply all the policies we've been building for our users, such as what do you have access to or what don't you have access to, apply those to agents as well. So the registry is a key piece of it. Another key piece of Agent 365 is going to be the access policies. So we do conditional access today for users based on your role, based on what organization you belong to, based on your security risk level. So all that conditional access functionality we have for users, we're going to extend that to agents. And then the other one would be just capabilities around visibility into what agents are interacting with one another. So all of that collectively in Agent 365 helps support the agent sprawl piece of it.
Yeah, and thank you for sharing that, because I think, especially this year, there's been a lot of things happening with security, right? A lot of customers are nervous just in the market, right? And so it seems like you all are responding to the market, you're responding to the customers, you're responding to what customers want and are asking for, which is super important. So thank you for the team that your work and the product teams are doing. Supply chain and runtime risks, right, are hot topics. And so talk to me a little bit about how Microsoft Defender updates are protecting AI agents and not just LLMs.
Yeah, no, that's great. So if you think about the previous question on agent sprawl, that's really IT is worried about that. When you think about developers, they're building agents or they're building AI apps, and oftentimes they're using, open source models or orchestrators or just, different components from different places. So that's what's the supply chain. And so how do you know that the things you're pulling in from these open source systems are secure to begin with? And so Defender, we've done this for applications for a long time. We call it posture management, which is that, the specific things you're pulling in, they don't have vulnerabilities in them by default, that the configurations are right. And so all of that posture management goodness we've had for apps, we're extending that to agents. And then on the other side, for runtime specifically, we've always done runtime, what we call threat protection for AI applications. And Microsoft has one of the best threat intelligence signals in the market. We process 100 trillion threat intelligence signals a day. And so Defender can take all of that, apply it as detections for threats that might be coming in, and then allow us to work with Foundry to then actually have the developers block it. So being able to extend all of that goodness we've been doing for years on applications to agents right now is super exciting.
Yeah, and I think the work too that your team is doing helps build trust, right?
Yeah.
Security is such an important component in order for customers to trust us and what we're doing. And so I love that. Tell me a little bit more about like the data oversharing and leaks. They remain a number one concern for customers,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah.
I think about it too.
Yeah.
And so what's new in Microsoft Purview to prevent oversharing and govern AI interactions?
Yeah, so Purview, we've been on a journey with that product as well. 2 years ago, when 𝗦𝗲𝗀𝗀𝗶ecie Copilot came out and was getting deployed at scale, as you imagine, customers were like, oh, I can ask it any question and it's going to have access to all this information. So how do I make sure that, we've got the right access privileges, but we've also, if someone's copy pasting sensitive information into a prompt, or it's going to reason over some sensitive information, I can't copy paste that and exfiltrate that outside my organization. So we started extending our Purview controls for data loss prevention and labeling and all of that to Copilot and all the things we do with Copilot. And then as agents came about, all those same concerns apply over there as well. You've got users interacting with agents, you've got agents interacting with agents, you have agents interacting with applications. And so as the data is going back and forth, all that same detection of, do we have sensitive information, should we block it, when do we prevent someone from copy pasting things over, all that stuff's translating over and carrying over to agents as well.
Yeah, and I think you all really understand your customer and what they want. And I love hearing from you, especially about this, because I think like a lot of customers worry, like I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
And so is Microsoft's security for AI coverage only for Microsoft-built AI and agents, or how can customers ensure that they're catching hidden risks and threats of shadow AI?
Yeah, so shadow AI, so first off, our approach to securing and governing AI is, assuming the customers has a heterogeneous environment. Yeah. They're going to have, Microsoft pieces to it, and they're going to have other platforms that they work with. And so we've always approached it as a platform. We have an SDK for others to build on, and we'll work with the SDK as well. So all of that comes together. And so when we look at shadow AI, that starts with visibility. And so giving you visibility, like I said, for your agent inventory as an example, it's not just the Microsoft built agents, so if I'm building them in Copilot Studio or Foundry, but it's all agents. And so we really want to take that comprehensive ecosystem-like approach to it.
Yeah, and tell me, what's one takeaway that you want attendees or people watching online to take away from security at Microsoft?
Oh, the big thing I would say is think of security. We say security is a core primitive. It's ubiquitous. It's autonomous. It should be everywhere. And the work we've been doing is really to make it available both to IT through Microsoft 365 and the Agent 365 and the admin center over there, the Microsoft Admin Center, and to developers through Foundry. And so all the same goodness we've had in Purview, Defender, Entra, we're now bringing that everywhere in all our products where AI is built and run.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Thank you for that. And also, I think with the rise of AI regulations and accountability to AI governance committees, how will customers ensure they understand all their AI risks?
Yeah, so that's been another area that's been a hot topic with customers. Every customer I talk to, doesn't matter which continent or country I'm in, they are looking at regulations. The AI regulations are still evolving. They haven't fully baked yet. We work with regulators all the time and collaborate with them to figure out, which direction these things should go in. And they're saying, hey, help us. I'm worried about how am I going to be compliant. So help us with that. And as part of that, we have been building capabilities into Purview to allow you to do a self-assessment. It gives you a compliance score, and it says these are all the controls you need to implement if you want your compliance score to go up. Now, the problem with that, though, is the regulations keep changing. What we've done is we've said, okay, we're going to. It turns out LLMs are really good at reading regulations and mapping those to security controls. So we've now, based on LLM-based models, we have what's called AI-powered regulatory templates. And so you can upload a regulation, it'll scan it, it'll map it to controls, and it'll give you basically an automated assessment saying, here's the actions you need to take to get your compliance score up. So it really starts to ease the burden for customers and then give them a way to start to navigate these regulations.
And I think one of the biggest parts that you said there is to ease the burden for customers. I think that's super important as we are in the era of AI, right? People are already overwhelmed. There's so many AI solutions. Which ones do you trust? Which ones are governed correctly? Which ones are trustworthy, right? And so I love that you're talking about taking that burden away from them. And I think lastly, what is the most important thing you want customers to think about as they are, like I said, overwhelmed, right? They're overwhelmed with so many solutions out there. What do you want them to take away from security at Microsoft?
I think the big one, particularly in the context of, this overwhelm, is that, we are looking at the challenge in a comprehensive end-to-end way. So everything from, we talked about threat protection and posture management to data security to identity and access. So how do we look at it holistically and compliance and governance as well? How do we look at it holistically? And then going back to what I said earlier is, how do we think about security as a core primitive and knowing that, hey, it's built into the capabilities and the tools you're working with as you build your AI. And so that's going to be a priority for us, and we're going to be working really, really hard to make it easy for customers as well.
Thank you so much. So much for talking to us about this important topic, Herain. And to you all watching, if you want to learn more about security at Microsoft, check out the link below and then go ahead and enjoy the rest of Microsoft Ignite. Thank you so much for joining us, Herain.
Thanks for having me. My pleasure.